Well, it's officially official for Kenny Pickett starting for the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. We're going to be talking about Saquon Barkley on the record, talking about Shaq Barrett, some more news coming out, and maybe some good news for the Eagles going forward if they decide to pursue this, and a lot more news. So let's get straight into it all.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I hope everyone's doing really well today. It is no surprise from all the, media sources, outlets. It looks like Kenny Pickett will be starting this week for the Philadelphia Eagles against the Dallas Cowboys, okay? Now, Nick did say at his press conference the other day, maybe there would have been somewhat of a shot for Jalen Hurts to get cleared this weekend, but with not much amount of practice in for Jalen Hurts, no practice for Jalen Hurts this week. I guess they just felt like they were more comfortable sticking with Kenny Pickett, getting him comfortable with the offense, working with the ones all week with more practices under his belt as a starting quarterback going forward. And, it just made sense at this point. So that is the direction that they are going in. Okay. Now, when you have Kenny Pickett starting, this gives him more opportunity, like I said, to practice with the team and get that chemistry together with some of the guys. And A.J. Brown did say that he spent some extra time with Kenny Pickett on field and probably a lot of other players too, guys. I think when it comes to Kenny Pickett and when they throw him in the fire last week against Washington, I felt like he was more comfortable throwing to A.J. Brown, which was a big plus because I think as a possession receiver, guys like that, I think, some of his throws weren't perfect, but, AJ and Pickett didn't really do bad together. And I think that could really elevate for this week. And I think he'll definitely have more chemistry with Devontae Smith. And I think the number one thing really is for Kenny Pickett to go through his reads. He's got good protection in front of him. You could run the football this week. Your first downs just have to look a little bit better so you don't run into those second and third and longs where teams are just going to sell out to really hone in on Saquon Barkley, knowing that Kenny Pickett has to pass on those second and third downs. So they just got to, I think Kellen Moore's got to have a smarter game plan, and I think he will this week. You're hoping that Kenny Pickett just looks a little bit sharper going into this game on Sunday. And, that's all I could really care for at this point. You know what I mean? So you want to get in and out of there with a win as fast as possible, win the division, clinch that second seed, and then you start resting guys for the last game against the New York Giants in Philadelphia. The Eagles are home the next couple of weeks, so they're not going anywhere. They're sitting home pretty comfortable right now and just got to get one more win here. So that's where we are at as an offense. And I think Kenny Pickett will look more sharper, hopefully by Sunday. And I understand he's got the rib injury, so he's not really telling reporters how bad it is. He's got some protection to see how comfortable he's going to feel with that. And, he should look a little bit more sharper. So I understand why they're going in this direction this week. And I know Eagle fans aren't happy with this. Eagle fans feel like we can't, Kenny Pickett's our worst way that we could win. It's our worst option of winning this week and where things are really important. I totally get that. And I think another thing is people are like, well, if Kenny Pickett's in, man, then Saquon Barkley is going to have a really tough time in this game. I mean, realistically, the next couple of weeks, he could break this record. Okay. Saquon Barkley has 1,838 yards right now. So he needs 263. I don't know how many he needs, something like that. Okay. Saquon Barkley, like I said, the first down plays have got to look a little different. The problem is that no defenses are going to be worrying about the threat of Kenny Pickett with his legs and the distribution. No one is going to give too much attention to Kenny Pickett in this game, which is a good thing because if Kenny Pickett just goes to this game and plays really well or maybe surprises defenses of things that he does, or maybe Kellen Moore has some different plays under his sleeve, then that's fantastic. But for me, I don't even care about this record anymore. I would love for him to break it, okay? But unfortunately, he ran well in that Washington game. It's just that, he probably could have done a lot more in that game, but we just couldn't get enough runs, and we made things way too predictable on first down, and it just didn't work out. You know what I mean? So I understand Eric Dickerson is like, oh, I don't want him to break it, but if he does, it's whatever. These old heads are just like being weird about it. Um, you know, I don't care about records, man. I care about health, and I care about a Super Bowl more than just a record. Yeah, I understand. I get it. It's just one of those years, and unfortunately, like that game against Washington kind of screwed everything up a little bit. And now you're down to the last two games. See, if you had the number one seed, you could run Saquon Barkley the next couple of weeks and just be like, whatever. And because you don't have that number one seed now you're kind of locked into really resting a lot of guys for that last week. So if they win this game against the Cowboys, they win the division, win the second seed, and they go and then the Giants come into town the last week of the regular season, and they decide, if Nick decides to drop A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and rest a lot of these starters, but then keep Saquon Barkley in there with less weapons in the offense, I don't know. Depends on how much he really needs for that last week. And I don't think Saquon Barkley is going to care much. I think Nick will maybe ask him, but they're at a situation now where they need to rest up because of not getting that first seed, and they gotta get ready for playoff football soon. You're getting some reinforcements back with the defense with Bryce Huff. You get Dallas Goedert back soon. So guys are coming along. In this record, we might have to forget about it, guys. It's unfortunate. It sucks. He's this close. It is so close. If he could pull up, if he could pull off like 255 yards plus in this game, oh, he'll be sitting pretty sweet right now. He can get it. I mean, he can get it in this one game if the Cowboys allow him to do that, but it really depends on this quarterback and strategic plays in order from the start of a series to the end of a series, because, if you're too predictable and you kind of show your hand and what you're doing, like they did in that Washington game offensively, Saquon's going to have a rough time. Even though Saquon had a really good game last week, statistically, if we're talking records, it's going to take a little bit more in this game. So we have to kind of, it's going to suck, man. I think he can get it next year. Another year's another year. It's unfortunate, but the playoffs and obviously winning a second championship is more important. So that's where we're at with that whole thing. So lastly, I want to talk about Shaq Barrett. You remember the defensive end. It's been in the league for a long time, was retired. Okay. That, this was from like a few weeks ago to a month ago where, Shaq Barrett wanted to unretire and play for a championship caliber team. Okay. Now, the Miami Dolphins own his rights. And unfortunately, like, unless they flat out release him or waive him, there was no way, and this was earlier in the season, like a month ago. So, Miami had a shot at making the playoffs or something like that. They weren't just going to give him away, but they did say they were not going to sign him, but they weren't going to give him away. So it's like they were just holding him hostage at this point. But now it looks like since Miami is not going to make the playoffs or anything like that, it looks like the Miami Dolphins are going to give him his wish and waive him on Friday and see where he goes through the waiver wire. Whether a team picks him up for next season, which I don't think. Look, I think Shaq Barrett's not looking to play next year. He's looking to play for the rest of this year, and that's it. So it would have to be a playoff team that picks him up. And if no one picks him up, then he could sign with whoever he wants. Okay, he could sign with whoever he wants. I don't know if you could sign guys during the playoffs. I don't know the rules to that. I think you should. I think you can. I don't see why you can't sign an off-the-street player during the playoffs or something like that. So the Eagles have done it in the past. They could do it again. I think they've been pretty good with this three-man rotation. I think they've been fine. Obviously, Bryce Huff coming back to the mix now. We were kind of talking about this Shaq Barrett stuff when Brandon Graham got hurt, and then all this defensive end news started flowing out like crazy. The Eagles signed Chris Harris off waiver. I forgot his name. The guy from the Carolina Panthers that was tied in sacks, that edge rusher. I forgot. I think it's Chris Harris. I could be wrong. So they ended up signing him off waivers, but haven't really used him. I think Nolan Smith he's got like 6.5 sacks already on the season. I mean, he can get like 8. I mean, if he can get a couple sacks next couple of games, damn. I'd be great. I think the edge position has been pretty good. Containment, a little bit of an issue, but I think we'll tighten up fine. Not worried about that. But um, I'm not saying the Eagles will make a move like this. This is just something I'm throwing out there just to see maybe, if you add a Shaq Barrett, then yeah, you're gonna have to let go of somebody. And I don't know who you're gonna let go of on this defense for, especially depth purposes as well. I don't know if you should really affect the depth. I think the Eagles are pretty good with what they have, but just going to throw the news out there that he will be available on Friday, off waivers, see if anyone picks him up. I'll report if anybody picks him up and see what happens at this point. So, other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. So, it is official with Kenny Pickett. And let me know you guys think your thoughts on it. Do you think he'll look sharper this week? And I felt better that the players were coming out saying, we spent some extra time with Kenny Pickett. And I think that Kenny Pickett should look a lot better in this game on Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. Two teams that are really banged up right now. Not really banged up, but two teams are dealing with injuries. The Dallas Cowboys especially. So should get this win in Kelly Green. Good things happen in Kelly Green. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys think, and I will see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up, follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.